said that Gutfeld talks about you all the time.
Who is he? Really, who is he?
I don't watch the show.
He has a show.
I don't watch the
never
show.
heard of him.
Yeah.
I guess he's just obsessed with me.
No. Next, Joy's going to say she's never heard of carbs.
Imagine Joy Behar trying to keep her cool as Greg Gutfeld delivers a sharp jab so unexpected, even her signature poise wobbles. Did she actually get rattled, or was it just her pride taking a quiet exit off stage? Either way, this on-air exchange is a whirlwind of tension, wit, and must-see TV moments that will leave you talking.
Seriously, her denial of knowing me is as believable as her red hair. But obsession? I mean, come on, Joy. Where would you even get that idea? Like Joy Behar's face, it's looking worse and worse by the day. More full of crap than Joy Behar after a night of scotch and Taco Bell. Her being named Joy is like me being named ugly. Joy wasn't there on the show. Apparently Mondays are her days off when she feeds in the pasture. It now smells like a humid day inside Joy Behar's moo-moo. The motives stink worse than Joy Behar's jog bra. I mean, assuming she jogs. Oh, wait, there she is. She has a point. Maybe I am obsessed, but some people are obsessed with Bigfoot, and they don't get to see him on TV every afternoon.
Joy Behar, a master of the fast jab, the razor-sharp response, and the kind of eye roll that could silence a room full of sugar-fueled children, has long held the title of Queen of Daytime TV Snark. She has been using her opinions like a gladiator, brandishing a verbal trident for decades. However, even the most ferocious fighters have bad days. What about today? That day was today. That day when Greg Gutfeld entered and turned the spotlight into a blazing interrogation lamp, Joy was roasted like an overcooked casserole.
This week, Joy Behar accused Elon Musk of being pro-apartheid, but then begged him afterwards not to sue. Musk lawyers have yet to comment because they're still checking to see if it's legal to sue a cow.
Shots fired.
Just a legal question. I don't know why it's so upsetting. I don't make the rules in this country.
Let's now take a moment to discuss Greg Gutfeld. A one-man satire factory, he could effortlessly transform a funeral into a comedy show. His wit and his humor are so dry that they might dry out the Sahara, sufficiently sharp to cut through steel. In addition to throwing blows, Greg choreographs the entire SmackDown, including zingers that knock down a cartoon villain with more force than a grand piano.
It's about the view. It's become like a medical hospital that displays human misfailure. Like it's like here, let's look at this political oddity. You know, it's like it really is like the left-wing equivalent of a carnival sideshow, except instead of bearded ladies and fat clowns and two-headed cows. Well, let me rephrase that. But The View is a victim of the sunk cost fallacy. You know, how can you now speak the truth when for years you've been telling lie after lie after lie? Now you're carrying this big bag of rocks around you because it's too harmful for their ego to admit that we really were dishonest. And they could be honest. All they would have to say is, look, we hate Trump so much. We were willing to lie about Joe Biden because we felt he was preferable. We thought our lying and our cover-up was on your behalf. Just say that. You're still scum, but at least you're honest scum.
Not only is it embarrassing when Greg focuses on someone, but it's a full-fledged verbal steamroll performed with the dexterity of a surgeon and the ruthless joy of a child who hasn't had any candy for a week. Imagine this now, suddenly caught in a verbal crossfire that feels more like a reality TV meltdown or a disastrously embarrassing stand-up open mic. Joy Behar is contentedly seated on her daytime TV throne, certain that she has weathered every storm the media world could throw at her.
Some news, the feral monsters of The View say they've never heard of you-know-who. True, the show that makes mornings hell claim that my name doesn't ring a bell. It's time for
Our view on The View. Ugh.
Yeah, the witch's coven finally shows me some lovin'. Yesterday on The View, yours truly was the subject of conversation. Apparently the broads have no idea who I am, or so they say. Hit it, Gladys.
This wasn't your typical on-air sparring or cheeky banter. Greg Gutfeld didn't come to play. He came armed with precision, wit, and an uncanny ability to expose every weak spot in Joy Behar's on-screen persona. It wasn't a debate, it was a dismantling. From shaky takes to dramatic rants, Greg turned Joy's usual fire into smoke signals calling for backup. It started innocently enough. Greg lobbed a few light jabs, teasing Joy's latest political hot takes, and those classic moments where her passion outruns her point. But the mood shifted fast. What began as playful needling quickly escalated into a tactical roast session. Greg didn't raise his voice or throw insults, he let sarcasm and timing do the heavy lifting. Every comeback was a clean slice, cutting through Joy's arguments like a scalpel through warm butter. As the tension built, it became clear. This wasn't just disagreement, it was a full-scale unraveling. Greg calmly peeled back the curtain on Joy's daytime bravado, revealing a highlight reel of contradictions that practically begged for a laugh track. He didn't break a sweat, while Joy, usually quick on her feet, struggled to regain balance like a dancer mid-routine with the music offbeat. Then came the moment, the point of no return. Greg's humor hit critical mass. No yelling, no theatrics, just pure, calculated takedown. Like a hawk circling its target, he struck with icy delivery and pinpoint accuracy. The result? A masterclass in televised wit where comedy met critique, and Joy was left reeling in real time.
Republican presidential candidate Tim Scott dropped by the Furry Five earlier today, and I thought the U.S. had a distinct policy against torture. He took the opportunity to call them out over crap Joy Behar recently said about him, specifically that he doesn't get systemic racism, which is like saying Brian Stelter doesn't get Ben and Jerry's. But Joy Behar gets racism after all. She's been black on Halloween. Yeah. But Joy wasn't there on the show. Apparently Mondays are her days off when she feeds in the pasture. But that is convenient, right? It's like one of my aunts dies every time Brian Kilmeade wants to hang.
Joy Behar had been firing off her usual mix of zingers and fiery hot takes. Business as usual in her TV playbook. But Greg Gutfeld? He didn't just clap back. He locked in like a predator sensing weakness. And instead of trading barbs, he delivered a cold-blooded monologue that didn't just question Joy's stance, it dismantled it, piece by devastating piece. What made Greg's takedown so cutting wasn't the comedy, it was the surgical precision behind it. No shouting, no flailing, just calm, calculated blows delivered with the confidence of someone who knew exactly where to hit. Each line landed like a punch in velvet gloves, smooth, stylish, and savage. It started out like harmless back and forth, the kind of spicy segment that gets viewers leaning in. But then, the energy shifted, the tone dropped, and suddenly, that playful roast turned into a televised reckoning. And Joy? Normally, she's unshakable, armed with quick quips, sharp sarcasm, and the kind of on-air agility that keeps her ahead of the curve. But this time was different. Her rhythm broke. Her go-to comebacks missed the mark. Her confidence, visibly, cracking. And the cameras caught it all. Every flicker of disbelief, every stunned silence. For longtime fans, it was jarring, like watching a lioness lose her roar or a storm suddenly go quiet. But this wasn't just a rare stumble. It felt deeper. In the high-stakes arena of live TV, where reputation is everything, Joy wasn't just losing control of the moment. She was watching her entire on-air armor come undone, live and unfiltered.
Sausage maker Johnsonville is recalling more than 42,000 pounds of pork sausage for possible contamination with plastic fibers. Fortunately, authorities were able to track all 42,000 pounds to a single location in New York City.
This moment wasn't just a stumble. It was a rare crack in Joy Behar's polished facade, a fleeting but revealing glimpse of the person behind the persona. What caught viewers off guard wasn't just the tension, it was the unmistakable flash of raw humanity on display. This wasn't a meltdown, it was something far more compelling. A moment of vulnerability exposed under the unforgiving glare of live television. Joy's hesitation didn't scream defeat. It whispered surrender in the silent language of high-stakes media. In a world where every word, pause, and facial twitch is scrutinized, her brief slip spoke volumes. It told a story of pressure mounting, of weariness setting in, and of the heavy toll that comes with always having to perform. Even the most seasoned voices can falter, especially when met with the calm, calculated force of someone like Greg Gutfeld. This wasn't just a blow to ego, it was a rare, disarming pause in the middle of a verbal battlefield. Joy Behar, the queen of comebacks, the master of smirks and sound bites, suddenly looked unsure, and the cameras didn't miss it. The smirk faded. The retort never came. Instead, silence hung in the air like a question with no answer. And in that silence, if you watched closely, you could almost see the wheels turning, the quiet scramble for a line, a save, anything. But nothing surfaced. No sharp remark, no witty return, just a moment suspended in stillness where the mask slipped and the audience caught a glimpse of something strikingly real.
Their brains are small. But who's the dumbest one of all? True, none of them are in Mensa, but who's the most densa? Perhaps it's Sonny who mastered the art of making idiots look smart. Now The View could ask a mirror who's the dumbest one of all, but there's no way that glass doesn't shatter.
Here's the thing about life in the media spotlight, especially in an age where every word is clipped, every glance dissected, and every misstep replayed on loop, you learn to build armor. Not just any armor, but one forged from sarcasm, bravado, and strategic deflection. For years, Joy Behar wore hers like a second skin, turning outrage into applause and heated moments into headline gold. But even the strongest defenses have cracks, and Greg Gutfeld found hers. This wasn't just an awkward exchange or a tense debate gone sideways. It became something bigger, a cultural flashpoint that lit up conversations well beyond the studio. Joy's falter wasn't about losing an argument or fumbling a line. It was a rare, unscripted glimpse into the human cost of being on all the time. When the pressure to entertain, influence, and spar with confidence collided with Greg's unflinching strategy, something had to give. And when the clip hit social media, it was game over. The internet exploded. As expected, sides were taken. Some hailed Greg as a verbal assassin, others empathized with Joy's unguarded moment. Memes rolled in fast. Greg as a debate ninja, Joy as a storm-hit news anchor bracing for impact. The digital consensus: Greg Gutfeld had orchestrated one of the sharpest, most composed takedowns in recent memory. And for once, Joy Behar, usually the queen of the stage, was left speechless in the spotlight she once commanded.
Well, I make fun of The View a lot, but that's only because they keep talking. Those hens are always clucking. They get to say stupid stuff for an hour every day, and then I get to say stupid stuff for an hour every day, except on purpose. But every now and then, one of those dingbats inadvertently says something that reveals modern liberal thought so perfectly it deserves further study. You know, like a weird serpent that washed up on the beach and you want to poke it with a stick.
But why does this moment matter beyond the drama? Because it peeled back the glossy veneer of televised punditry and exposed the raw, often unforgiving reality beneath. This wasn't just two media figures trading shots, it was a window into the exhausting world where public personas are built on a tightrope of authenticity and performance. Joy Behar's crack wasn't just a blunder. It was a striking reminder that behind the polished delivery and studio lights, these personalities are human. Subject to the same pressure, self-doubt, and emotional wear and tear as anyone else. Greg Gutfeld's takedown, meanwhile, was a masterclass in controlled media combat. No yelling, no low blows, just razor-edged humor and perfectly timed jabs that landed with surgical precision. It was the kind of performance media scholars will replay for years, showing how comedy, when wielded skillfully, can cut deeper than confrontation. For Joy, it was a hard reset, a moment of unexpected vulnerability that shattered the illusion of invincibility. And once the segment hit the internet, the fallout was instant. Feeds flooded with memes, hot takes, and digital drama. Greg's calculated dismantling didn't just make waves, it triggered a full-blown online tsunami, spreading faster than a viral cat video with a twist ending.
Do you think it's a good strategy on the behalf of The View to pretend we don't exist when we know they know we exist?
That's a brilliant idea. I do it all the time.
Yeah.
Gutfeld. I'm sorry, not ringing the bell.
Usually at the airport.
Yeah, all the time. Yeah. Huh? Really? I sit next to him? Really? How many? No, this is what elitists do who can't, like, if you don't know who someone is, how did you know to automatically hate him? Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, that's how fake and full of she is. Gutfeld, never heard of him. Don't like him. Why? Because why? That's why I just turned to one of my kids. Because why?
Yeah.
Because I don't know who he is. Never heard of him at all in my entire life. But why? Because I don't know. Because they are the last TV show to talk about high turnover. Mm-hmm. We've been rolling 3 steady for a long time.
Yeah.
We don't take breaks in the commercial to get away from each other. Well, that's what the drinking's for.
Yes.
The conversation quickly shifted from did Joy Behar just stumble to how far is too far when humor turns into humiliation? Suddenly, the fragile line between sharp wit and outright savagery was under scrutiny. Was Greg Gutfeld's takedown a masterstroke of satire, or a primetime moment that crossed the line? Some praised it as a flawless display of cutting commentary. Others saw it as a cold reminder of how modern punditry often sacrifices empathy for entertainment and clicks. The internet didn't hesitate to pick sides. Greg was celebrated as a straight-shooting truth-teller, while Joy was hailed by her defenders as a seasoned voice who had the courage to show vulnerability in a world that rarely allows it. The clash struck a nerve and went viral overnight. Greg's performance became instant meme fodder, dissected by everyone from late-night hosts to armchair analysts. Every smirk, every line, every subtle twist of sarcasm was replayed and broken down like game tape, cementing the moment as a pop culture flashpoint. His reputation skyrocketed, branding him as the pundit who can take down opponents with the finesse of a surgeon and the timing of a stand-up comic. For Joy, it was a painful slip. For Greg, it was legend in the making.
Here's Joy Behar talking about refusing to share a kidney.
I find my friends bizarre. With a Trump supporter. I won't give them a kidney, but I could be friends with them.
Hey, Joy, it's a kidney, not a pizza. Of course, she's kidding at first, but then she goes on to explain the moral foundation for her resentment, and it's the same one that drives all deadly ideologies.
And meanwhile, Joy Behar found herself caught in a whirlwind of both sympathy and scrutiny. On one side, some viewers rallied in support, applauding the rare moment of vulnerability from a woman known for her quick wit and ironclad persona. On the other, critics pounced, questioning whether this stumble signaled a deeper decline. Had the unshakable Queen of Daytime debate finally lost her edge? With the spotlight burning hotter than ever, Joy's entire career was suddenly back under the microscope. Past blunders, fiery rants, and theatrical monologues were dusted off and replayed like blooper reels. Her greatest hits rebranded as cautionary clips. The court of public opinion wasn't just watching, it was dissecting her every word, every pause, every twitch of discomfort. But this wasn't just about one on-air moment gone sideways. It revealed something much bigger about the world of modern media. Today's pundits walk a razor-thin line between confidence and collapse. Every joke is a risk, every reaction is a headline, and the pressure to stay bold while appearing invulnerable, it's a constant, crushing performance. This isn't just daytime drama, it's a reflection of our cultural climate, where satire, ideology, and personal attack have merged into one chaotic spectacle, where humor can heal, but also humiliate, and where public figures must constantly perform toughness, even when the cracks begin to show. Why does this matter? Because Joy versus Greg wasn't just a spicy exchange between two talking heads, it was a mirror held up to modern media, a reminder of how easily the pendulum can swing from entertainment to exploitation. It forces us to ask uncomfortable questions. How much pressure can one person take? How authentic can someone be before authenticity is turned against them? And as an audience, how much are we complicit in turning human missteps into viral content? Greg Gutfeld didn't just land a punchline, he delivered a televised power move, raising the bar for every future showdown. Whether you saw it as savage, sharp, or a little of both, one thing's clear. He turned a live debate into a cultural moment. As for Joy, whether she comes back sharper or steps away to regroup remains to be seen. But this episode has reshaped the battlefield. The stakes are higher, the lines blurrier, and the margin for error practically non-existent. So while Joy may be licking her wounds off camera, the rest of us are left with front row seats to one of the most brutal and bizarrely entertaining media moments in recent memory. Because in this new age of televised takedowns, it's not just about who speaks loudest, it's about who survives the spotlight and who gets the last laugh.